The exposures to elements, substances, conditions, as well as lifestyle choices and genetic factors that make a person more or less likely to contract a disease are known as risk factors. For example, to have unprotected sexual relations with a variety of people is a risk factor for syphilis, AIDS, and other venereal diseases. Family history, obesity, and a sedentary lifestyle are risk factors for diabetes and heart disease. Cancer has probably been around as long as life has existed on Earth. Paleontologists have discovered signs of cancer in the fossils of many prehistoric animals, including dinosaurs. There is no one risk factor for all forms of cancer, although a single risk factor in combination with others can potentially give rise to a variety of cancers or increase the likelihood of such cancers developing. Excessive sun exposure can lead to skin cancer. Use of tobacco products has long been associated with cancer of the lung as well as the mouth, throat, and other organs. Genetics and family history also constitute risk factors. On the other hand, there are people having one or more risk factors that never develop cancer. Mesothelioma and asbestos. Mesothelioma is a specific type of cancer which attacks the internal lining of the chest and abdomen as well as that of the internal organs, particularly the lungs. This lining is called the mesothelium, from which the disease derives its name. Asbestos exposure has been shown to be the main risk factor in contracting mesothelioma. This substance is actually a group of 6 different naturally occurring minerals, known as silicates, that was once used in construction materials, automotive applications, and anything requiring heat-resistant or fireproof barrier. Most uses of asbestos were outlawed by the Environmental Protection Agency under George H.W. Bush administration in 1989. A decline in mesothelioma cases appears to have resulted from this ban. Nonetheless, there are still some 8 million people in the U.S. who have had dangerous exposure to asbestos. While the number of men contracting the disease has fallen, the number of women patients has stayed level, indicating that exposure occurs in locations other than the workplace. Although asbestos is present in the atmosphere, the concentration is extremely low. People having the highest risk of developing mesothelioma from asbestos exposure are construction and demolition workers, miners, factory and railroad workers, and those working in shipbuilding and dismantling. In addition, families of such workers may be at risk, since asbestos fibers can be carried in the hair and on clothing. The EPA estimates indicate that there may be nearly 750,000 public buildings in the U.S. that still contain asbestos insulation and/or flooring. This includes up to 15% of all public school buildings in the nation. How asbestos affects the respiratory system. Asbestos is used in one of 2 forms. Serpentine fibers, consisting of the mineral chrysotile, is curly and quite flexible. It is the most common form of asbestos. Amphiboles are similar, long needle-like fibers. These are made from any one of 5 silicates: crucidolite, amosite, anthophyllite, tremolite, and actinolite. While any kind of asbestos can be a risk factor for mesothelioma, crucidolite amphiboles are considered the most dangerous. Serpentine asbestos fibers that are inhaled are captured by mucous membranes in the respiratory system, the nose, throat, trachea, and bronchi. These fibers are usually coughed up and/or swallowed. This can result in peritoneal mesothelioma, which afflicts the inner lining of the abdomen. Amphiboles, on the other hand, may reach the very ends of the airways, penetrating the alveoli, the small air sacs in the lungs, and penetrating the pleural lining of the lung and inner surface of the chest. These fibers cause cell injury, which ultimately leads to the development of mesothelioma. However, the condition does not develop immediately after concentrated exposure to asbestos. It often takes years and even decades for symptoms to develop. Other causes and effects. Another lung disease attributable to inhalation of asbestos fibers is asbestosis. This is caused when asbestos fibers actually scratch and puncture the inner surfaces of the lung, resulting in the formation of scar tissue. Lung cancer can also be attributed to asbestos exposure. In fact, the risk of lung cancer among those who have been exposed to asbestos can be up to 600% greater than that of the public at large. By itself, tobacco use does not result in mesothelioma. However, in combination with asbestos exposure, it can increase the risk of lung cancer by as much as 8,000% compared to the general population. In fact, more asbestos workers die from lung cancer than mesothelioma. Mesotheliomas have been known to be caused by factors other than asbestos. Thorium dioxide, a radioactive mineral and material once used by medical personnel in X-ray procedures, has been implicated in cases of pleural and peritoneal mesothelioma. Zeolite is another silicate found in abundance on the Anatolian Plateau of Turkey. The incidence of mesothelioma in this region is correspondingly high. Recent studies also implicate SV40, a simian virus now known to have contaminated some polio vaccines between 1955 and 1963. Lab studies have shown that animals and animal cells treated with SV40 have a tendency to develop mesothelioma. SV40 is also found in biopsies taken from mesothelioma patients. While there may be a causal relation, some scientists believe that the presence of SV40 may be due to contamination of the sample under examination. This virus was found to be present in the tissues of healthy individuals who had not had the polio vaccination in question. Up until now, studies have not conclusively demonstrated any causal connection between SV40 and mesothelioma among cancer patients who received contaminated vaccines in childhood. As most mesothelioma is diagnosed in individuals between the ages of 50 and 70, the issue may remain unresolved for the next 2 decades. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.net, information and help for patients and families.